Oh, it's time for the First Bet DRF Pegasus Cup Day handicapping preview show. Alexa, that's a mouthful right there. We've got a lot to discuss. I'm Gino Buccola alongside Alexa Zepp. We're going to welcome in a couple guests today on this huge preview show. I'm pumped. You and I are in our hotel rooms. We're just a couple doors down from each other, but we're in Florida getting ready for a big weekend at Gulfstream Park. How's it going?
So great. I mean, Gulfstream's so much fun. Pegasus is so much fun. This weekend is more than just a weekend of racing. There's all sorts of awesome entertainment here that we're going to tell everybody about.
So one of the horse racing companies out there called First Bet and First Racing, they are in charge of running a couple different racetracks, and they have different wagering websites that you can play and wager along with. And one of the staff, one of our good friends, someone who's a great handicapper, a great ambassador, is going to join us right now and help us set the scene for that day. Bailey Armour from First Racing joins us. Bailey, how's everything going?
It's going great, Gino. What a generous introduction. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad to be here with you today.
So in this first segment, let's set the scene a little bit because we're going to do some handicapping in the next segment. So we're going to preview races 10, 11, 12, 13. We're going to talk pick 5. But first, let's kind of set the scene for everybody who may not know about this day. So this day was created back in 2017 from the folks at First, because they wanted to have this big day on the calendar with a huge race that some of the best horses in the world could point to, but also a really fun day at the track with music, with excitement, with entertainment. It's just a really fun experience to be out there on Pegasus Day.
Absolutely. This is my third Pegasus, and without a doubt, I can say this is one of the events that I look forward to the most out of every year's racing calendar. The Pegasus is not just one of the, most stacked races in the entire racing calendar of the whole year. In fact, this year we actually have 7 Grade 1 winners in this edition of the Pegasus World Cup. But alongside that, you've got top quality entertainment. We've got some DJs, we've got some singers and performers performing out in Carousel Club all day long. And then the food down here on Pegasus Day is truly unmatched. So if you haven't been to the Pegasus before, make sure that you add this one to your list of important races to go to, because you don't miss it.
Bucket list type event. Now, when the event was created in 2017, it was placed in January on the calendar for a couple reasons. It's a few months after the Breeders' Cup, and it's right before the North American breeding calendar will start in February. So it will give a lot of these really nice horses maybe a chance to get one more big race for breeding purposes, get a big win under them. And Bailey, we've seen this grow. Initially, we had the Pegasus World Cup Dirt. Now we have 3 Pegasus races where we have a turf race and then a filly and mare turf race. So like any big event, we've just seen this thing grow and grow and grow. And now we have, Charles Appleby shipping in horses from all across the world. It really has become an event that people are pointing their horses to run at.
They're absolutely putting the world in Pegasus World Cup this year, which is great. The Pegasus World Cup filly and mare turf was upgraded to a grade 2 this year. Now, that's one of the races that we'll touch on as we get into the show. But the caliber of fillies and mares that have entered this race this year is really, really special, along with some other international horses. So I think this might be the best one we've seen in its 9-year history.
And Alexa, I know you are someone who gets involved in a lot of handicapping contests. In fact, you had a nice run last year in the NHC, but one of the biggest handicapping contests of the entire year is this weekend. It's on Saturday. It's the Pegasus World Cup Betting Championship. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that contest, Alexa?
Yeah, so handicapping tournaments is actually how I got introduced to horse racing altogether and involved in the sport. So it's very near and dear to my heart. I'm trying to think how many times I've played in the Pegasus tournament. At least 2, maybe 3. 2 here on site. You can play online too. So if you're itching to get in, you still can. But it's a really fun tournament. It's a live bankroll tournament. The buy-in is $6,000. And you bet it and you try to run your total up, and then whoever runs their total up the most gets a ton of prize money. The winner is going to walk away with well over $100,000 in this tournament. There's over $250,000 in prizes. So it's just a really exciting tournament, an exciting race day to do it at with so many exceptional horses to bet on.
So you can get involved in a big handicapping contest. We're going to preview the late pick 5. Bailey, they even have special wagers like the First Racing Coast to Coast pick 5 that will have the last 3 races of the Pegasus Day, and they will mix with a couple races at Santa Anita where you go back and forth. But the one thing I wanted to point out about that wager and a lot of the other wagers in particular, I'm someone who plays the races quite a bit. It seems like the folks at First, at Gulfstream, at Santa Anita, a lot of those tracks have really tried to make some of the wagers a lot more handicapper friendly, lower takeout. What does that mean? We get more of our money back when we win. Who doesn't want that, right?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
So one more thing to mention today, the schedule. We're going to be talking about some of the biggest races, and we're going to take a quick look and just a highlight of who are some of the major players in each of those races. You can catch all the action starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time on NBC and on Peacock. We're going to be very lucky to have Randy Moss from NBC help us to analyze a couple of these big races throughout. So Bailey will help us set the scene. We'll have Samantha Perry from Gulfstream Park join us to preview a race, and then Randy Moss will help us preview the big races. We'll finish up with a Pick 5 ticket from myself and from Alexa. So let's take a quick look in at race number 10. That's going to be one of the races we're going to preview in this show in the next hour or so. It's the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf. Just to give everybody an idea of who are some of the major players, you have Rakia, who's coming into the Todd Pletcher barn, who we last saw win a race at Del Mar, who I think will take a lot of money down on the inside. Fluffy Socks, she'll come running late. She was only 7-2 in this race last year. And then towards the outside, I think Sacred Wish is another one who's just in really nice form right now. A couple of the major players in the Filly and Mare Turf. As we move to race number 11, I think one of the major players in this one, this is the inside info. You're going to have to the outside Emery as a real horse to beat. So I'm looking forward to analyzing that race, seeing if we're going to beat maybe Emery or we're going to go in different directions. The 12th race, it's the Pegasus World Cup Turf, and that's where we're going to see some of the best horses in the world shipping in. They're all going to be running for that $1 million purse, race number 12. A couple of the headliners in this one. To the outside, you're going to see Nation's Pride, who is a very talented world traveler. You'll also see Integration, who's probably one of the better local horses, who was actually favored in this race last year and a major player. And then as we get into the World Cup, Bailey, we're not going to be talking with you a whole lot about the World Cup, but give us a thought real quick. We have Saudi Crown, who's probably going to be showing some speed to the inside. We've got the local hero, White Abario, and then to the outside, you've got the young, up-and-coming, lightly raced Locked. Those are some of the major players, but who is a horse or two that's on your radar?
Another one on my radar that you didn't mention, as shown here on the graphics, the number 6 Stronghold. So a California-based horse has been in the trifecta in the Pegasus in 8 of its 9 editions. Stronghold is my key play underneath White Abario and Locked in the Pegasus World Cup.
Yeah, Stronghold is one of those horses who we saw as a 3-year-old, and now as a 4-year-old, you could see he's just improving, he's developing, he's maturing, he's coming off of a faster speed figure last time out. So 3 big Pegasus World Cup races today, lots of on Saturday, lots of betting opportunities for everybody there, and we're going to pick the brains of a couple different really sharp handicappers over the next hour or so right here on SportsGrid. So remember, we have a quick little teaser video that we want to show you before we get to our first break. And after the break, we'll get into race number 10 with Bailey, the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf. But before we do, let's find out a little bit more about Pegasus Day.
can't help but dance.
See, and I was in trouble there because the producers told me based on my shot, I can't move my head around a lot. So I was trying to bob and weave a little bit, and I was having to really force myself from moving. But don't worry, we'll be dancing all over the place on Saturday at Gulfstream Park. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to get you set up. We're going to go race by race, race 10, 11, 12, 13, horse by horse previews. We'll start first with the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf. It'll be myself, Bailey, and Alexa, horse by horse when we return from this quick break.